Hey, I'm Shay Kelly. Come along with me on my wildest adventure yet in Kenya. We'll visit with Mac, Gordon, and Kelly at Giraffe Manor.
We'll continue our safari in the Masai Mara and find animals everyone looks for when you're on safari, even if that could be slightly dangerous. We'll snuggle up to a family of cheetahs
and interview Kenya's incredible Eric Wanaina.
But you are sweet poison.
So join me and my untamed camera guy Robin as we explore Kenya on this episode of Shay's Rockin' World Tour.
Everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants to see their face on TV. To me, this all means very little. I'll be fine here in the middle, as long as I'll be noticed by you. Everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants to be famous.
Kenya is located on the east coast of Africa along the Indian Ocean. It had long been a dream of mine to visit Kenya, to see majestic animals I've read about in books or seen in zoos, out in the wild. And now I'm really here. When you're planning a trip like this, it's important and necessary that you find out if there are any health issues you need to be aware of. Dr. Gary Podolsky specializes in travel medicine. Our whole crew dropped by his office to prepare for our Kenyan adventure.
Malaria medication is something you have to take every time you go into a malarious area. That's important.
Yellow fever, hepatitis, and malaria. And I'm kind of not looking forward to this needle. Hopefully it is in the arm.
After all the build-up, the shot turned out to be a piece of cake. So don't worry, it's not that I'm brave, it just really didn't hurt a bit. Last episode, we met Paul from Steambox Safaris. Paul was our driver, tour guide, and host. Right from our first time out, Paul found us elephants, giraffes, and ostrich. And he warned us about staying in the safety of our safari vehicle. It seems so peaceful out here. It would be easy to forget that there are wild animals all around, and this is their territory. You may not always be able to see them, but they're out there.
Look at all of these different species of animals. I love how they all live in harmony with one another.
Of course, some of the animals live off the fertile grassland, and others, like the lion and the leopard, are predators and live by hunting live prey, including antelope, topis, and impalas.
That's why Paul, our tour guide, tells us that we have to stay in the safety of our van because there are lots of lions lurking in the tall grass.
But Paul taught us how to tell when there's a lion around.
There's the lion just watching those topi. Those topi are watching the lion. Something's bound to happen at some point in time. I guess they figure if they stare at the lion for long enough, he can't sneak up on them.
All the topis stand really still and alert. They have guards facing in each direction for protection.
I don't trust the lions personally because they look very, very innocent. They are very, very dangerous. And that's why I always say to be very careful.
We had finally found our first lion. It's the middle of the afternoon, so she looks kind of sleepy. She doesn't really look hungry to me, but I guess looks can be deceiving. Sometimes it's hard to get Robin to take things seriously.
Did you bring the pork chop so that the lion will play with me?
No, but I think you'll make a good substitute. Go on.
Robin may be joking about the lion, but you can see those topi are not taking any chances. Lions are one of the animals that attract a crowd.
A little party going on here.
Usually you can drive all day and never see another tour bus. Not today.
There's a million people here trying to see them. It's like a tour bus traffic jam. People come to Kenya from all over the world to see the Big Five: leopard, elephant, buffalo, rhino, and the lion. The big game hunters named them the Big Five because they're the most dangerous to hunt. In 1977, Kenya banned all game hunting. Now, the only thing you can hunt the Big Five with is cameras.
we come back, we'll track down another member of the Big Five. Stay tuned. Shay's Rock and Roll Tour will be right back.
Well, we're going on our very last safari today. It's along the Mara River, which is right by the border of Tanzania. I'm excited to go, but sadly it's our last time.
Paul had an idea where we could track down the rare black rhino. We'd seen one from a distance from our hot air balloon ride, but we were excited to see one from the ground.
The black rhino, unlike the white rhino, is very dangerous. Doesn't like to be disturbed or anything. It can charge at you if you try to go near it.
Well, we weren't really sure that we were actually going to see a rhino. This is so lucky, so rare.
I can say one thing, Paul was a really safety-conscious guide, and he sure knew where to find the animals.
So are lions or cheetahs more dangerous?
Yeah, although this one is not as dangerous as a lion, but it's dangerous. It can attack us.
Yeah.
You cannot walk around near them.
Gee, they're the fastest animal on Earth, and all they're doing is laying there.
It is the fastest in the world. 110 kilometers per hour. Very fast. The Impala is very fast also. 95 kilometers per hour.
I'm glad we had Paul to show us around the Masai Mara and to teach us about the land. Even the trees were kind of, well, wild. Paul told us an interesting story about the sausage tree.
We get the sausage. It's of the fruit. You know it's a fruit. Get it dried up. You grind the water which comes out of the sugarcane. It's very sweet. You mix it with honey and the sausage fruit for fermenting. It is used for fermenting. Then keep it for a few days, let's say 5 to 7 days, and then that's what we call traditional beer.
I didn't get a chance to sample the beer Paul was talking about, for obvious reasons, but the tree was so unusual.
Oh, my hat fell off the side, and now Robin's going to get it, even though there's lions out there. Wahoo!
Watch out for lions!
Musician Eric Wanina is well known for his sweet voice and traditionally inspired music, and as we saw last time, he's passionate about seeing things improve in Kenya.
There's been a lot to talk about. There's been a lot of political upheaval in Kenya. Even though there's been peace, there's been a lot of dissatisfaction with the government. There's been a lot of dissatisfaction with our standard of living.
Eric explained that it's difficult to get anything done in Kenya without providing a tip or a little extra payment. He says this is true of people in all sorts of positions, from the police to regulators to the government.
So that song addresses the vice of corruption and the fact that it permeates all areas of society in Kenya.
He says that it's not right that this kind of payment is expected, and it's important that this kind of bribery is eliminated to make Kenya a better place to live.
How was that song received by the people?
By the people, very well. A lot of people appreciated the song because it sort of said what they wanted to say. Just to show you how bad the government reaction was, I was singing at the Kenya Music Festival, which is a school's music festival, and they'd asked me to go play as a former winner at the Kenya Music Festival, to go and show current competitors that, hey, if you took your music seriously while you're in school, you could make a career out of it. And so they asked me to sing, and one of the songs I was going to sing was that one. As soon as I started singing it, an official at the side of the stage starts sort of saying this to me, cut, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to stop. I mean, I've started singing the song, and when I look back...
Rather than stop singing the song, Eric took encouragement from the audience and kept on singing. He says he appreciates that he felt safe enough to go on.
10, 15 years ago, artists, lecturers from the universities were being thrown into jail, being detained without trial for indefinite periods of time. And so what it is that musicians like myself, artists like myself, are just taking the lead from people who began the work 20, 30 years ago. It's just that climate right now in Kenya allows us to do so without intimidation. It's all of us who suffer, and that we just can't keep on blaming our leaders, that we ourselves are responsible for corruption. I don't think it's going to be only me who effects change in Kenya. a lot of artists are doing this sort of social commentary. A lot of the hip-hop artists address a lot of social issues in their music. A lot of comedians do it as well. What it is right now is that as artists, we have an opportunity in Kenya to address these issues without being worried about being thrown into jail. I went to school in the US, and so I did a lot of stuff in Boston. I played in New York. I played on the West Coast in LA and in Atlanta as well. I played a lot in Africa. I played in Tanzania, in Uganda, in Zanzibar, in South Africa, in Senegal. And I hope to do a lot more. But I haven't yet played in the Far East. I haven't played in Australia, and I haven't yet played in Canada. So I'm looking forward to that. I have a new record coming out pretty soon, and I hope to be able to tour extensively in North America.
When we come back, we'll get a live performance from Eric Wainaina, visit the residents of Giraffe Manor, and snuggle up to a family of cheetahs when Shay's Rockin' World Tour returns after this.
Hi, I'm Eric Wainaina. This is Nairobi, Kenya, and you're watching Shay's Rockin' World Tour. These chickens aren't even ours. They walk in from next door. If they're here during a public holiday, they just might not make it out.
So do you usually play in stadiums or clubs or?
It's generally clubs. I played a couple of stadium gigs here, but they tend to be festivals more than anything else. When we get to play our own show, my own show in a stadium, I'll definitely let you know. Yeah.
You have a pretty interesting instrument there. Can I see it for a sec?
It's called a nyatiti. Nyatiti is an instrument from Western Kenya, from the Luo tribe. You can play many different grooves on it. And so I've been learning this instrument for the last 2 or 3 years, and it's really helped my writing.
Could you play something for us?
Sure. When I lie right next to you under the silver moon, I'm as close to heaven as my sinner soul will go. But you are sweet poison with an angel voice. You sing me to sleep as you make my bed in hell. Now I know you're no good for me, baby. You're my fork in the desert road. But I know there's no turning around. I'm too far from home.
Wow.
Cool.
That was great.
Thanks, Shay.
That sounded so cool.
Thank you. So this is my CD, my first CD. It's called Sawa Sawa, which in Kiswahili means all right. So if someone says to you, "Hey Shay, how you doing?" You could say Sawa Sawa, which means I'm doing okay. This album came out 4 years ago, and it has the anti-corruption song that I was talking about earlier on. So I hope you enjoyed listening to it.
What's the best way to be sure that people can buy your CDs?
You can log on to www.ericwainaina.net, and you can also hear excerpts from the CD, and also hopefully we'll be playing in a town near you, and you can buy them live and autographed.
Boy, I sure am gonna miss Kenya and seeing wild animals every day. Sure make a lot of noises. Yeesh.
Just on the outskirts of Nairobi is one of the more interesting places I've ever had the chance to stay. Stay tuned. Shay's Rock and Roll Tour will be right back.
David, can you tell me a little bit about the history of Giraffe Manor?
Well, it's about 70 years old. Built by a chap who made his money in toffee and then came out to Kenya, presumably in his kilt, and built what is an old Scottish manor house, really, in the middle of nowhere. And legend has it he just climbed a tree, the tallest tree he could find, and looked around and said, yes, that's where I'll have my manor house, over there. After the toffee chap left, Betty, an American, and Jock Leslie Melville, a Scotsman, came here, and then they got interested in giraffe, so they brought a couple of giraffe in. We've had lots and lots of baby giraffe here over the years, and they've gone out now into the wild, so it's rather fun. We have old giraffe and mother giraffe and baby giraffe. And,
so cool.
and they're so big that the male giraffe can even feed from the second-story windows up there.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's
That's
rather
all.
fun, yeah. It's very nice to have you here. You've come a long way.
I have, yes, and it's so cool here. I'm so happy. It's so great.
At Giraffe Manor, we were hosted by David and his wife Nadine, and I felt like we had taken a step back in time. The breed of giraffe here at Giraffe Manor are Rothschild giraffes.
And so we've been breeding giraffe here and then sending them back out into the wild the last 30 years. So now the numbers, instead of being 100 and something, are now, I think, 500 and something. So it's been a successful program. So we've got about 10 giraffe. But 3 of the babies will go off into the wild probably next month, actually, or even this month.
The trust that runs the Giraffe Manor also operates the nearby Giraffe Center. It's really great to get so close to animals that we saw out in the wild, and to know that there are people working hard to conserve these beautiful animals.
Yeah. Got giraffes all over.
Each year, over 30 to 40,000 Kenyan kids are bused in for free for conservation and education programs.
So that they appreciate what they've got around them. You know, we think that's an important part of the conservation program is the education side, not just the animal side, it's the people side as well.
Imagine opening your front door and having a giraffe waiting for you.
Anytime you walk outside of Giraffe Manor, everybody wants to see if you might have any food pellets. Sometimes, doing Shay's Rock and Roll Tour promos is like work, and sometimes it's a blast.
From Giraffe Manor in Nairobi, Kenya, you're watching Shay's Rock and World Tour. Can't believe these are babies.
After a peaceful night's rest in this magical place, we were treated to an awesome breakfast, complete with a visit from one of our hosts. Could this place really be called anything other than Giraffe Manor?
Yeah.
They're so beautiful and gentle. I just love to stand in the window and feed them all day. But I'd better not, because we still have lots to see in Kenya.
From Giraffe Manor, Nairobi, Kenya, you're watching Shay's Rock and Roll Tour. It's a real pleasure to have you. Real pleasure. Yeah. All right, then have a lovely rest of your time. All right, bye.
Nairobi Animal Orphanage. Yes.
Thank you for choosing this place. You're most welcome.
Volunteer guide Franklin showed us around.
Wow.
This is called Charlie, who is 6 years old.
This is really great. He looks like he's posing for us.
This orphanage collects animals from all over the country. And if they are not too tame, we release them back to the natural to give them a second chance of living. But for those who are too tamed, like the cheetah and the warthogs we have here, we have allowed them to stay here so that you can come and see them.
It looked a little like a zoo, but it's different because each and every one of these animals was rescued from the wild, and most of them probably would have died.
They were found abandoned, very small, 1 week old. Believe you me that they will not attack you and you're going to be safe. So no problem.
This one's turning like a motor.
Sure, he promised that the cheetahs wouldn't attack me, but what about delicious Robin?
Oh, that is nice.
Oh my god. That one loves Robin.
They lick their food before they eat it, right?
It's a shame these orphans can't be released, but they get great care here and don't seem to mind being in show business. It was really amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye. Okay.
Kwaheri, that means goodbye from Kenya. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Shay's Rockin' World Tour.
I'd heard about the Canadian about.
About?
And you said it a couple of times.
Hey, at least it was us this time.
Are you filming? It's a kid's show.
Now I'll mess it up. Hi, this is Shay, and you're watching Eric's Book.
No shooting, come on. Ew!
On this episode of Shay's Rockin' World Tour,